Okay, today I found something really interesting and I like to share. This is my waste oil burner, but it has all the elaborate stuff like the fan and stuff like that. I have it in another video. Um, but today there's no electricity whatsoever and it's been down for, this is the second day. And I just put a cup of oil in there. And if you notice, you see how it behaves? It actually create like a vortex in there. I don't know if you can see it in the camera there. And it's actually burning a-okay. Just a stainless steel bowl, a stainless steel dog bowl, and oil in the center and a tissue. Once it gets hot enough, and you have to leave enough air right here to create a round vortex, and that's all it does. It burns on its own and it sustains on its own, and this is my second cup here, so I figured I made a video of it. But there's nothing, no fans whatsoever, just oiled on its own. You will need brake disc though. I probably made a more elaborate video later, but I figured that this probably would be best to share this one, because then in case of an emergency you don't have fans to blow them. The fan will burn a little cleaner, but right now there's no electricity whatsoever, so I can't get electricity or anything like that. But anyway, that's it right there. There's nothing, there's no fans or anything. And see how it's burning? You create that vortex. I'm trying to catch that vortex. Once you open the door, the vortex is gone. But that's how it's being done. And I actually went and just refilled it just like this right here. Once it dies down a little bit or running out of oil, I just refill it like this, and it doesn't affect it whatsoever. The tissue in the center actually helps it. You see that thing floating in the center? That's the tissue. And then I just close this back up, and it'll create its vortex again. And it'll start burning again. Nice and clean again. And you can hear that roar. If you hear that roar, that's mean it's creating the vortex. I'm going to go over here if you see it. It's actually pretty high. Trying to see how high it is, but you probably won't be able to. That's how high it goes. It holds really high. The only thing bad about it, you don't have fan to fan this out. But I have a reclaimer here, and it does pump out pretty nice heat right now. But like I said, it's emergency, so, or no power whatsoever. But this is the way to sustain it, I guess, to burn without power. Anyway, other than that, that's about it on it. Like I said, I'll make a more elaborate setup. It's actually quite pretty simple. I've been racking my brain on something stupid, but this probably works even better than all the stuff that I designed. But anyway, I'll see you in the next video. Okay, today I'm gonna just show you a little something I discovered during an power outage, a 3-day power outage, and this should be a good thing for emergency. A way to get rid of your used oil, or you can actually use good oil if you want, just to stay warm. And it's pretty effective and simple. You would need like a cup or something to get your oil in. You need like a dog bowl. See this right here? It's like a dog bowl. And I found this. This is actually like a water thing for the fireplaces and stuff like that. You put water in there, and it's like a humidifier. So it's pretty heavy duty. This is all marble. It also have a lid on there. And what happened is you're supposed to put water in here and let it evaporate so it can, like on top of your stove or whatever. But anyway, I found that because I needed this. I have the brake disc in there. This is my stove that I built. an oil burner stove that I built. You can see that in my channel there, and there's videos on them. But what happened is during the emergency, there was no power outage for 3 days. No power for 3 days. So I was looking for a way just to burn the oil, to see how nice it can burn, blah, 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 all the stuff. And I needed to stay warm. Plus my dog was shaking. He's a Chihuahua, so you know how Chihuahua is. They always shaking. Anyway, so I found out that this thing here actually would help a lot to burn. And as simple as this stainless steel right here. So let's say if this was your fireplace, like a wood fireplace, and you just needed like extra power, whatever. Not power, but heat during like an emergency. Then all you need really is a cup of oil. Now I use the smaller size. You want to use a smaller size so you can contain the fire, because you don't want to be too much. So it'll burn okay, blah blah blah, all this stuff. Anyway, so I got a cup of oil here. I'm gonna demonstrate it for you. And imagine this is an emergency, because that's what I did. I just used a cup of oil. I fill it in a cup, and you can always refill it again and again. Pour it inside your thing here. Sorry, trying to get the rest out of it. And then make sure to get some extra on a piece of paper towel or toilet paper. I found that toilet paper actually works really good. Works best. And all you have to do is actually add, if you have like you know, camping fuel, whatever, you can add that to your tissue here. In my case, this is my camping fuel. So I add a little extra on there, and I just place them in the center right here. Oh, sorry, camera's out of the way. I'll place it in the center here, okay? And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna light it. Sorry, camera's a little shaky. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna light it, and then close the door. If you have like a door like these, what you need to do is to create a little hole, like a, if you see right here, a gap. Now, when that gap actually helps, it actually would circulate the air around. And you're gonna hear a roar. Let me get that out for a second. Let me zoom out. You would hear this roar. And it creates a little vortex, as you can see inside. And that vortex is pretty high and is a clean burn. Once it gets to hot temperature, you will see a little clean burn, but right now you will probably see a little smoke on your chimney stack. Anyway, and that's about it. I did this for off and on for 2 days, and it kept me for a while. It kept like heating for a while. I will merge the other video in, and can you refill it? Yeah, you can just keep refilling it. Once it dies down a little bit, you can actually refill the cold oil. Okay, oil got to be cold, because if it's hot, it'll catch on fire. But if you have like warm oil or something, you can wait until the fire die down or whatever, and then restart it again. But that's what I found out, how easy it was to stay warm in an emergency. And you can see that vortex right there. You create that vortex. In the next video, I also explain that as well. But I wanted to make sure to make this as to show you how simple it was. And if I open up a little, you can catch the vortex, and then it gonna die down. See that vortex? And it's gonna die down in a minute. So if you start it up again, you will hear a little bit, and then the vortex is gonna start to begin again. Right now we have power, so you might hear my fan kick in, but during an emergency you won't have any power or anything. What my fan does is I have a reclaimer here, and that goes out, and that's what kept me warm. Just a simple an oil burner, but you can just practically stick this into your fireplace like a regular brick fireplace, and then also to your like one of those a wood stove. That would also work too if your wood is not dry or whatever, or if you don't feel like, you know, dealing with wood or whatever. That would be another option right there. But if you can see inside, it burns really clean right now, and I was surprised that this was how easy it was. If you see all a bunch of stuff, I've been trying to design this thing for the longest time. I made a lot of elaborate burners, and I've been testing them. Some of them are not even on videos. If you can see right here, bunch of junk that I just done recently. I even tried it with gas right there. This is a gas chamber right there. So you can see, if I show you a bunch of things, I waste a lot of money trying to design this thing. But the funny thing is, this is probably the simplest thing ever, and it requires no power. Just what I showed you earlier, a container. If you don't have that container like I have, use a brake disc. Make sure the brake disc is small enough that will fit in there, and if you have two, you can actually double stack it. The heat will help you, but if you just, all you need is one. But make sure that container, when the small container, don't go too big. I believe that's a whole, I think maybe a pint, less than a pint, I guess. I'm not too sure on that one, but it's a dog bowl. It's a small, medium size. I believe that's a 6 or 4 inch. I believe that's a 6-inch bowl. So make sure to have it small enough so that way you'll be able to, you can always refill it, because the point is to stay warm in an emergency, not to burn yourself out. But as of right now, you can see that vortex as I'm talking, and see how I did the door. I leave a gap right there, so you're gonna have to leave the gap the same way so it can create this thing. But since this is round, it creates a vortex. If you have a square or a rectangle wood burner or something, it's gonna create a little bit different than that. Maybe put a round, something round around it, like a cage around it or something, and that way it'll direct your heat. Or you can actually take a piece of metal and bend all around and leave a little hole like this right here, so the air will enter and then it'll vortex all around. That would be another idea too. But the idea is to stay warm, and that way you would won't freeze, and or if you get pets or whatever, they won't freeze either. But anyway, as of right now, how high the heat, just for that burning alone, I'm gonna measure it for you. My chamber right here, it's like 300 something degree up top here. It gets to 100 something there. My reclaimer is 2 something there. My chimney stack 100 something there, 163. So inside here is gonna kick in a minute once it reaches temperature, but that's 200 something. But right now I have power, so see, like that, it kicks in, and it's blowing out about 200 something degree right now. But on top here it's 186, but around here it's 300 something degree. And like the door is 2 something, but right on the side here it's 300 something degree right there, and not just for burning in that little bowl. But anyway, so as an emergency wise, I hope you remember this, and you can just stick. Actually, I was burning vegetable oil too. I took old vegetable oil and I burned that. Vegetable oil takes a while to get hot. So I would suggest to, if you have like kerosene, mix a little bit of that into the vegetable oil. That would take off a little bit better. Don't put too much because I know it will become combustion. Because kerosene burns a lot. If you have like camping fuel, like I have right here, I also mix that in my vegetable oil. If you have old vegetable oil, you can do that too. If you save them around or whatever, it's good for emergency. And also too, regular motor oil, that's be good for emergency too. But right now, as you can see, my air things kicking in because I have, like I said earlier, I have power today. But during this discovery of the power, I figured I made a video for it because it helped me a lot. I was pulling my brain out. I said, how I'm gonna, burn this and have it clean or whatever. But I was, to my surprise, it works pretty well. And like I said, because this thing is oval, it creates like a vortex around, which is really good. And also too, like I said, the heat on that was extremely efficiency. Although I have to get up and fill the cup and blah 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 because I didn't want to, like, as an emergency wise. But if you have a drip system, that would work too, because like I said, I think because of this design that makes it creates a vortex on its own. So any of you guys who are watching this later on or whatever, make sure that's all you needed was just a tiny stainless steel cup, a dog bowl in my case, and a container that would contain the heat. One would be a brake disc. Two, if you have something like what I had there, then you can put that in, but it has to be really thick. I've tried other burning stuff, but it has to be contained. That's the secret to that. So I actually made a forge on this one, and I'll show you really quick. That was my next right there, because remember, it has to be contained. It has to be hot enough for it to reignite again and again. So sort of like this. I'm going to make something like this later on with just the bowl inside for emergency. So I'm actually discovered this. I actually have another video on that one if you want to watch that one. But this video is about for the emergency, so I hope you would remember that and take into consideration that during your emergency, no power or anything like that. For last time we had it for almost like I believe 7 days we didn't have power, and we were on a generator, running a generator. But if you don't want to, you don't want to waste power, blah 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 blah, it'll be easy. Just use oil in a container and just burn it just like this in a fireplace. A bigger fireplace though, don't put them into a small little tiny ones, because I don't know how it's going to react. Maybe a small one for a tiny one, but don't use a bigger bowl because it creates a really high vortex on this one. It was like I don't know, 2 feet high I think, and it's still burning now. And it's been like the heat is intensive right now because it's almost to the end. And see, it's 300 something degree right here. Up here it went to about 3 something now, 2 something now, and it's about to die out. So you hear that popping right there. It actually alert you too. Funny thing is that little dog bowl actually pops, and that's when it knows that you're getting less heat right there. So that's when you know that you can probably open it up and refill it, because that's what I'm gonna do right now. You see that? So I'm gonna refill it right now on camera, since I got on camera right here. I'm gonna refill it, and I'm gonna see how. I'm gonna show you that it's gonna keep up. It just went out. I wasn't fast enough. But that little pop there actually helps you. So I'm gonna get a little piece of toilet paper like right here. I'm gonna fold it all in into a square, and then I'm gonna dip it in here for the oil that was left over, and drop it inside and just light it. And there it goes. It's gonna start again, and all you do is just shut that in again, and here we go again. It's gonna continue just like that until the oil runs out again. So right now you can see burns pretty clean now because it got hot. So once that thing gets hot enough, you can see how nice and clean it is, and it's pretty high as well, and you can hear it roars. And it creates a vortex, as you can see. I'm gonna try to see if I can catch it the last time before. See? There's a vortex, see it? It's gonna die out in a minute. But anyway, so that's how it works. But anyway, I hope this will help you during your emergency, like it did with mine.